Sounds good.
The National Assessment of Educational Progress, a congressionally mandated large-scale assessment administered by the National Center for Educational Statistics, provide these following statistics. In 2022, as it relates to math proficiency, 35% of white students are proficient in math, 14% of Hispanic students are proficient in math, and 9% of black students are proficient in math.
Wow.
Reading proficiency, 38% of white students are proficient in reading, 21% of Hispanic students are proficient in reading, and 16% of black students in America are proficient in reading. And this is not a new problem. In 1990, 15% of 8th graders were proficient in math. And in 2022, 26% of students are proficient in math in 8th grade. In 1992, 29% of 8th graders were proficient in reading. And in 2022, 31% of 8th graders are proficient in reading. Here's my first question. Senator Vance, why hasn't this crisis that is plaguing America led the national political conversation leading up to this historic election?
Well, Pastor, first of all, thank you for doing this. And I appreciate everybody for having me and for having an open mind to what I'm going to say. And hopefully I'll just answer your questions as well as I can. And, I'd ask, we are in a house of God. Please spare a prayer for me and my family tonight. We certainly need it, and we need the wisdom and the courage of God. So I appreciate being here, and I appreciate everybody being interested in what I have to say. Thank you. You ask why this hasn't led the conversation. Why isn't this a national crisis and a national emergency? Because I knew that it was bad now. I actually didn't quite realize that it had been pretty bad for now going on 30 years. And I think probably the answer for why isn't this a more significant focus of American public life, why isn't this a more significant focus of this election, is that the American people who suffer the most under bad education and bad education policies are not the powerful, they're not the rich, and very often it is the rich and powerful that our conversation focuses on and not on common people, whatever the color of their skin. Because what was also so striking is that while, yes, those educational proficiency numbers were awfully bad and worse, they were worst of all for black people, I was kind of shocked that it's a majority of American children, if those statistics are right, and I believe that they are, a majority of American children of every race is not getting a quality education in the United States of America. That's a national scandal. But who is getting a quality education, right? I guarantee you the children of politicians are getting perfectly good education. And obviously I've got 3 beautiful kids myself. Our oldest is in 2nd grade, so we're not thinking that much about quality education. But if you look at where politicians send their kids, very often it is to private schools or at least to very fancy public schools where they know those kids are going to get a quality education. And a big part of why people are suffering today is because they don't have the same school choice that a lot of rich and powerful people have. And I think that's going to be part of the conversation, of course. But to me, one of the things we try to do in this campaign, and I know, I'm not going to get too political here. I want to respect the fact that we're in a house of God. But I do think that one of the things that we've tried to do in this campaign, and we haven't always done it perfectly, is to try to elevate the concerns of normal people. Right? Not just the rich, not just the powerful, not just the people who have political connections, but we tried to elevate the concerns of working people in the United States of America. And there's a whole host of issues, of course, that working people care a lot about, but I think that at the very top of that list is education, because if your kids don't have a good education, we know they're not going to be able to have much of a good chance at life.